Good morning. We are here with Mr. Demetris Skourides, the Chief Scientist of Cyprus. It was an honor and also an opportunity to address a few questions after his opening remarks here at the Cyprus Fintech Summit. Dimitri, first of all, thank you. And you mentioned in your opening remarks, and you highlighted the importance of human-centered leadership and how should financial institutions support their teams through the transition to AI augmented work. Give us a few more comments on that.
First of all, good morning and thank you for inviting me. So as we're moving with artificial intelligence and adopting it, we're seeing that there is a main element in really moving beyond augmentation to automation. While we do that, the most important thing is that we also prepare the roles of people, right, who are going to be working with machines to be able to benefit from, the power, the compute that these new engines and new workflows provide for us. Human-centered AI adoption means that at the end of the day, we have humans involved in the middle, where humans basically approve those decisions and fine-tune, look at the data, and that is actually a safe way for us to really make sure that machines are not trained on wrong data, or we are able to really look at it. For the financial industry and for fintechs, this is even more important as we move into a new era where we're also talking about agentic AI. We need human oversight to make sure that the processes, the workflows operate correctly, and these are also outlined in the EU AI Act Articles 12 to 18.
On the EU regime for AI, how fast can we expect changes?
Well, we do have a strategy that will be out for public consultation very soon. The actual strategy is designed in a way that it really focuses on one side in specialization on specific, let's say, verticals, but at the same time, it also gives us openness for us to diversify. The changes we're making into the strategy that will make the adoption of AI amongst the countries of EU is specific because we're designing enablers. And one of the enablers is, for example, talent development. The other one, for example, is infrastructure. The other one is what you can and can't do, for example, in specific industries. So we are working on a dual strategy. On one side, we have at the EU level, we're building the AI transformation office with the AI office, the apply strategy, the continental AI plan. At the local level, we have a local strategy which uses many of these areas, including sandboxes, that are going to be moving forward. So I'm very confident that once we have the new strategy approved by the Council of Ministers, we're going to be moving into much faster adoption rate. And we've gone from 2023, where we had 3.2% adoption, to 2024, where we had about 7.2. Now we are at 13, and I think we're going to grow into the 30s by the end of 2027.
So AI adaptation is moving along nicely in Cyprus.
It's moving fast. We're still behind our target. We need to get to 75%.
Oh.
But with the strategy that we have in place, we feel that we're going to be accelerating very fast.
That's very positive. But all of this development, okay, it comes with risks. And you touched on the National AI Task Force. Now, I want to ask you about the aspects of the upcoming AI strategy and how can we use the task force in order to protect our industry, our fintech, our AI development, and how would that fit in the bigger plan?
Well, thank you. That's a very good question. So what we've done with the National AI Task Force is we've looked at industries that are being disrupted. We've seen the skills that are going to be changing and where the requirements are. We've seen, for example, where public sector can adopt AI to really create value. We've also seen the legal risks that actually creep into when you're really training models. So to do that, we've had an outside-in perspective analysis onto the existing landscape. And we've designed a strategy that basically covers holistically A to Z, also taking care of the risks. We're not afraid of really adopting solutions that have high risk, but with the necessary precautions that will make sure that we actually quantify the risk, and at the same time we have control measures that can actually retain them. And that is why we always say that in Cyprus 2026 to 2030 our strategy is having the human in the center, because we believe that human operators are more important now than ever, because these are, let's say, the users, the people, the professionals that are going to help us, I think, minimize the risks. And let me also say that as per the EU AI Act strategy, the actual, let's say, beneficiary that is actually running an AI system has actually to look at it on a conformity assessment. It has to do the AI impact assessment. We also have to make sure that the strategy and the use case actually respects fundamental rights, and all of this also determines that there will be people in the customer who are going to be how do we call it, accountable. So beyond the data protection officer, right, who can be an assigned point, we're also talking about a network of network agents that are people that are going to be responsible for messaging what systems are implemented, what are impacted, what the risk classification they have, in addition to what we're also advising, having people who are going to be acting as change agents. So all of these elements, when coming together, if well trained, will increase our capability to manage risk much better.
You've mentioned 3 or 4 times right now the word training, education. It's like, get the people there. And it's like, are we doing any steps with on the educational side? Are we going to see courses, seminars, something open to the public or professionals to get more educated on the subject of the AI and how we can be protected?
Sure. So let me answer by saying yes. So basically, our AI strategy on the education part treats AI as not just an instance, but as an ongoing, lifelong learning, let's say, component. Therefore, in the strategy, you should be able to find, when it's actually rolled out, that there is guidance starting from how do you actually educate, children at school, professionals as they move into their working life, professionals as they actually specialize, meaning specific type of recommendations, right, for people who are CFOs and accountants, lawyers, health, for example, professionals. Training that is going to be made available for, I would say, the privileged or unprivileged people with disabilities who can actually leverage AI as an advanced mechanism to communicate, and at the same time also for our, let's say, people who have retired, the pensioners. So basically, yes. We already have a very strong fundamental basis right now, where through the HRDA we have trainings that are rolled out to companies. They cover, for example, Azure Essentials or AWS and others. We also have trainings that come from the centers of excellence for specific areas and roles. What we will do is actually have more of these, and there's more news to come up with this.
That's excellent news to hear. Now, since we are in the Cyprus Fintech Summit, the question would be, what opportunities do you see from your side as a chief scientist of Cyprus for founders, investors that choose Cyprus as a base to build the next generation of technologies?
So let me start by saying that most people don't know that Cyprus has a very attractive, let's say, set of investments incentives. One is, for example, 120% on the R&D tax deduction. The other one is the IP 2.5% box, right, where you actually build solutions that are, can fall under the 2.5%. That's a great incentive. The other is that the visas we have here, be it for startup visas or other visas for innovation companies, allow companies to have, the best talent across the world, meaning you can have EU talent which doesn't need a visa to operate in Cyprus. You can bring your talented engineers, right, or developers from other areas, right, of the world, irrespective where they are. But what is different is the game-changing strategy that we are actually bringing together. Our AI national strategy has amongst its focus areas to start with the financial services area. It will have a specific focus on sandboxes, right? It will also have a specific direction of travel that basically entails 2 main strategic themes. One of them is called operational accelerators, where we see technologies like agentic AI, we see RPAs, multi-agent systems that can really help work happen much faster. And at the same time, we will also see something that supports the focus on customer experience, specifically personalization. Now, why am I highlighting on this? Is because we have not yet seen a strategy at a national level bring all of these four elements together. Strategic direction, right, which basically says operational accelerators and or personalization. Number two, talent at the center. Number three, enabling blocks, incentives, sandboxes, etc. Number four, which is something above all, which is called something called sovereign IT plus sovereign IP plus capability or collaboration. So this is another angle of our strategy, is that we are going to be enabling, those founders, those, companies who want to be able to really develop their own, let's say, solutions in a box, to be able to go down to having a hardware all the way up to ethics, and at the same time to choose how they collaborate with partners, either these are our strategic nations where we have bilaterals, or let's say hyperscalers. Now this gives a founder, right, the extreme flexibility to be able to design from anything, from a little let's say open chiplet, all the way up to a solution that can meet ethics, and that gives you the multiple flexibility to really be able to design fintech in a box, bank in a box, other type of solutions where you can complement with Cyprus's greatest asset, the people.
It's amazing to hear that it was a long time that we were expecting a lot of changes in our industry, and I believe a lot of things changed from the day that the chief scientist role was founded in Cyprus. But with the founders and in inviting the international investors coming to Cyprus, you touched on international collaborations, and you have done a few trips this year, and you had some conversations with other countries. If I'm not mistaken, a month ago there was a visit in South Africa. Tell us a bit more about the contacts that you have made on the international level.
Well, okay, so each country for us is strategic, and it actually puts together areas of our offering as a nation and our value proposition. So I'll just say, for example, that we have the bridge to the Middle East and the GCC countries, which comes as a result of our government, let's say, AI MOU. We have something similar that we're developing with India. Why India? Because India has one of the largest, number one, populations of AI. South Africa is also a leader in the continent when it comes to digital transformation and also research. Some of the contents we've had there, beyond just talking about how technology changes humanity, how AI changes and transforms government, is also as to how, right, these blocks can actually create and connect continents, opening up markets where we have unserved, let's say, customers, right, to be able to really benefit from the best of two worlds, right, through Cyprus. Now, of course, the contacts there are both with the IT community, also with the government at the level, and also with the research communities that we're hosting this year, the Chief Scientist Advisory Roundtable.
We are hosting it here in Cyprus?
No. South Africa was actually hosting it in 2025.
Oh. Can we expect to see something from a Cypriot initiative to host an event and bring some minds here?
We are working on having a very nice event that will actually bring the world's, I think, top researchers, startups, innovators, policy experts in the coming year.
Okay, I wish you all the best there, and we hope we see it soon. Let's touch another side of the AI, the ethical side. We touched based on it. The questions. How is responsible innovation, okay, and how we can make sure that the financial sector, there's an increase in scams, there's an increase in identity theft, and we always see from our banks all these warnings, that cloned website and everything. How can we have a more ethical, a more safe environment for the consumer?
So I won't talk as a regulator. I'll talk first of all as a technologist, and then I'll talk as from the strategic perspective. From a technology perspective, right, building the predictive intelligence with tools like artificial intelligence is not difficult for us to be able to foresee and really look at the trends and the patterns. However, we need to always balance regulation, right, at the same time with safety and security. And I think sometimes you need the two to actually come at par for you to be able to implement something that works. So take an example with transactions in banking, right? We know who the bad actors are. We could foresee through, I think, webs of webs or nets who can be actually related to whom, and really prevent transactions of users who are basically uninformed before they send money, right? And we cannot recall those transactions back. So a lot more work needs to happen to really help people focus on preventive fraud, right, and preventing fraud rather than try to reverse the bad effect of fraud when it happens. From the government perspective, what we are doing, right, is we are suggesting at the national, let's say, AI strategy, a committee under a council that will actually work with specific AI misinformation and security, which actually will be able to help us to really identify and really create that awareness early enough before people succumb to this type of, I would call it unethical, let's say, type of scams.
On the first sentence, you said regulator. Are we expecting to see a regulator in the sector, or will it be every industry will have its own responsibility to regulate it? Like, for example, the financial sector, it's the central bank, it's SISEC. Are we going to follow, is it going to be a specialized regulator for our AI environments?
I'm not going to tell you, I mean, I don't want to allude that there is going to be a regulator. I think we're not at that stage yet. We have a competence authority or a competent authority that has already been assigned, right, and represents us at the EU level. We follow the guidelines of the EU, right, when it comes to enforcing it, and that basically is leveraging for the point time the actual notifying authorities and working with the other stakeholders.
And to close, what can we expect to see in 2026?
Well, the national strategy in 2026 is hopefully going to be out very soon. It's going to lay a foundation for, I think, a concrete direction of travel when it comes to adoption. As I said, financial services is one. There are some other industries that are also very important for us. The direction of travel is very, very concrete to the point that it's really going to, I think, give a nudge to companies to really invest. We hope to actually be able to align the guidance with the digital upgrade plan that is also going to help, companies, SMEs, and others. In addition to that, innovation programs that are going to really embrace and really, I think, attract people to come here and innovate. And at the same time, I would expect 2026 to be our fastest year in adoption of artificial intelligence.
That's a very positive comment to close our brief discussion. Demetris, thank you for attending. Thank you for supporting. And we hope to see great things coming from you and your team.
Thank you very much, Andreas.